Well, good evening. I'm I'm Prashant Gandhi. On behalf of AMA, we welcome you all to this wonderful session. Today we have a combination where Rajesh Jain is going to talk about emotional intelligence as also spirituality. In today's time, these topics are gaining lot of importance. In Gujarati, we sometimes say samta. Whatever happens, whatever comes to us, but if we are able to maintain balance, whether we call it samta, equanimity, or judging the situation well, whatever it is, it's very important. And I am very happy to share with you that Rajesh Jain, who has come from UK, has studied in Vallabh Vidyanagar at Birla Vishwakarma Mahavidyalaya. So I would say that he is, he belongs to Gujarat only, in spite of being an NRI at UK now.
Prashant is my senior in my college.
Yeah, incidentally. Rajesh Bhai is managing director of an organization called Aptitude Consultants Limited at London, and he has specialized, as we talked, in emotional intelligence and spirituality. With about 35 years of experience across UK, Europe and India, he has been instrumental in transforming organizations. He has worked with leading global organizations of India or multinational companies like Shell, Unilever, Larsen and Toubro. And he has also partnered with top consultants like McKinsey and Company. In fact, I learned from him that he has been delivering lectures at various places. During this trip also, he has done that with, I think, 4 or 5 organizations by now. And beyond his professional achievements, you see, the very important part is, he is a philanthropist. He is instrumental in establishing Jain Vishwa Bharati in London, and he was a founding member of GITO UK. Many of you may be aware that GITO is working in many parts of the world. Here in Ahmedabad also, GITO is very, very active. I had a chance to attend a few functions of GITO in Dubai also, and I found that at many places they are more active than what we are here even. During COVID-19 crisis, Rajesh ji was involved in lot of community activities, and his efforts were recognized by Lord Lieutenant of London. Recently, he was honored with honored as a coronation champion by King Charles and Queen Camilla. A real great honor for one who belongs to our place. And very recently, he has also received a NRI Achievers Award. Well, on behalf of AMA, we would like to felicitate Rajesh ji with a
That's more than enough of an Ashirwad from me.
Well, many of us might have read books on emotional intelligence earlier. But listening to a person who has practiced it for many, many years is something different. I had a chance to listen to the audio copy of Daniel Goleman's book 3 times. First time I did not learn anything. It was very difficult actually. But third time at least I could get 10-15% of that. And it has made a big difference in our life. The kind of relationship that we enjoy because of utilizing the concepts of emotional intelligence makes a big difference in the life. Let us listen this from Rajesh by Jain now. Thank you.
So let's start. What is the perspective? What we know about emotional intelligence as of now, right? Let's understand very openly. Do you think it's easy to enhance? Isn't it? હું તમને કહીશ, 2-3 વસ્તુ કહીશ, સમજાવીશ તમને, તમે સમજશો, એને કરશો. જસ્ટ કોમન સેન્સ. આટલું જ્ઞાન તો આપણને હોય ને સાહેબ. જ્ઞાન શું સાહેબ, પ્રશાંતભાઈ તો માણસ સામેથી ચાલતો આવે ને, આ નાલાયક માણસ છે. આટલું જ્ઞાન આપણને હોય, સામેથી ચાલતો આવે કે આ પર્સનાલિટી જબરદસ્ત છે, જોરદાર છે, ખબર પડી જાય ને. High for emotional people. There are people who are highly emotional, very emotional. અમુક સુખ અને દુઃખ તો એટલું જબરદસ્ત હોય કે વર્ષો વર્ષ સુધી ચાલ્યા કરે તમારે. Everybody had a crush in their life? Yes? No? Everybody? Then you know what I'm trying to say. It's for negotiating personal relationship. बराबर? मैडम सर के साथ धंधा करने का है, आप मेरा ये काम करना, मैं आपका ये काम करूंगा, दोनों का धंधा होगा, आप भी मस्त मैं भी मस्त. ऐसे होता ना रिलेशनशिप. इट्स ऑल रिलेशनशिप, नथिंग एल्स. Predicts whether or not someone will be successful. There are many people. આમ તમે જોવા જાઓ મેડમ, સ્કૂલમાં ફેલ થયા હોય, આઈઆઈટીનો તો એક્ઝામનો એક પહેલો પ્રશ્ન ના આવડે, પણ બિઝનેસમાં દે આર ઓન ધ ટોપ. They are not the people who have got the highest IQ, not at all, right? But they are the best successful business people. Why? Relationship. Either you have it or you don't have it. It is not something which can be built. ને તમારે સ્કૂલમાં કંઈ બનાવવામાં ના આવે કે આ ઇમોશનલ ઇન્ટેલિજન્સ આવું થાય એટલે પેલા બેન પૂછતા શું કરવાનું, આમ કરવાનું. There is no straightforward answer for this. And primarily about being empathetic and caring to others' emotion, right? But my perspective is altogether different. My perspective is altogether different. It's a combination of your conscious and subconscious mind. Your conscious mind will always allow you to think only about one thing. Your subconscious mind is full of the memory, intelligence. And remember, anything which has passed through your eyes gets stored in your memory permanently. You can retrieve it, you may remember it, you may not remember it. But everything which goes through your eyes from day one until your death is stored somewhere inside. સાહેબ અમુક વાર એકદમ ભયંકર સપના આવે તમને, weird thoughts, weird dreams. Why? Your mind is, subconscious mind is reading that, and unfortunately it has got mingled up, mixed with some other thoughts, and that becomes weird. It's quite obvious. It happens with everybody. There's nothing wrong in it. It happens because that's how the memory works. So let's see what it is. So what is emotional intelligence? It's basically to understand our own emotions and more importantly the emotions of the others, right? આજે હું કહું કે મને અહીંયા બહુ પેન થાય છે, પગમાં બહુ પેન થાય છે. Can you feel my pain? If you can feel, then you are emotionally very high. It's very difficult. And we'll see the classification, how it works in our mind, right? So it's basically to understand our own emotions. સાહેબ તમને ગુસ્સો આવે વિનોદભાઈ? ગુસ્સો આવે કોઈ દાડે? હવે that is emotional intelligence. He has realized that yes, it's obvious I will get agitated. ગુસ્સો તો આવશે. The whole world is not going to work the way you want it. Things are going to be different. But can I control myself now? I cannot change everybody else on this earth. Can I change myself? He did. And today he is able to control his anger. That is emotional intelligence. Second is understanding others' emotion. I'll tell you my own example. સાહેબ નવો engineer બીબીએમમાંથી નીકળ્યો, નોકરી લાગી, પહેલી ગાડી લીધી મેં, મારુતિ 800. મેડમ સીટ ખાલી છે આગળ, તમારા માટે ખાસ રાખી છે. I took a new Maruti 800 and that was a great moment, achievement for me, you know. I mean, and recently I was married, you know, so બૈરાને ગાડીમાં બેસાડીને ફરાવવાનું એમ. તો અમે અને હું વડોદરામાં હતો એ વખતે, ગાડી લઈને ગયા પાર્ટી કરવા સૂર્ય પેલેસ હોટલમાં. We were returning back home. And one child, વિનોદભાઈ, નાનકડો છોકરો સાયકલમાં આવતો હતો, ભૂર કર્યું, મને ઢમ દઈને મારી ગાડીને. મારો પારો હતો. I mean, for me, that 800 was something very, very precious, right? I got agitated. શું કરે? કાઢવો તો પડે ને, ગુસ્સો કાઢવો તો પડે. શું કર્યું? બરાબર આપી એક જબરદસ્ત. He didn't fight with me. He didn't fight with me. That small guy, I mean, maybe a casual worker or something coming on a cycle. મારાથી તો સહન થાય નહીં, માર્યું, પાખું નીકળ્યું નહીં, અંદર હજી છે. Then I started shouting, दिखता नहीं है क्या, कैसा चलाता है, दिखता इतना बड़ा गाड़ी नहीं दिखता है क्या, पहली बार साइकिल चला रहा है क्या? Then my wife asked me, why did you hit him? वो गाड़ी रिपेयर हो गया, तुमने उसको चांटा मारा तो? नहीं हुआ. बोले उसको चिल्ला के क्या हुआ? वो जानबूझ के तुम्हारा गाड़ी को ठोकने के लिए आया था क्या? नहीं. Then I realized I have not achieved anything. In fact, whatever I have to claim it from the insurance agency. That boy, he will not going to give me a single penny. Neither my car will be upright working. Somebody else is going to do that. Why am I necessarily expressing my emotions on this poor guy who has unknowingly did this, right? That's emotional intelligence. And that, it's very difficult. But the earlier we learn, the better it is. The earlier we learn, the better it is. કે તો ભાઈ ઘરમાં કોક દી ઝઘડો થાય, કોકવાર થાય, કોણ જીતે? Obvious. It's always very, very important to honor others' emotion. Because you can control your emotions. તમે એકવાર શાંત થઈ જશો ને, બધું શાંત થઈ જશે. અને એક જ રસ્તો આપું તમને, બધી પ્રોબ્લેમનો એક જ રસ્તો સાહેબ. ઝઘડો થયો હોય ને, એકવાર સોરી કહી દેવાનું. તમને છે ને 4 દિવસ સુધી દરરોજ નવી નવી મીઠાઈ બનાવીને ખવડાવશે. જસ્ટ સે સોરી વન્સ. આઈ એમ ટેલિંગ યુ, સચ અ પાવર. અને એ પાછું અંદર દિલમાંથી નીકળવું જોઈએ. આમ કંઈ રસ્તામાં ચાલતા આમ ઠોકી દીધું ને સોરી કહી દીધું એવું નહીં, મનથી નીકળવું જોઈએ. સોરી કીધું હોય ને, because once you express that emotion, it is touching her heart or his heart, right? You are actually touching. દિલમાં બેસી જાય ને કે મને સોરી કીધું અને સાહેબને બહુ ખરેખર લાગ્યું છે દિલમાં, બરાબર? That's emotional intelligence. Managing the emotions in the relationship. આપણે ઇન્ડિયામાં તો સંસ્કાર બહુ સારા છે. હવે શું દાખલો આપું તમને, અમારે ત્યાં છે ને, UK has got 25 1% kids who have got single parent. Can you imagine what would be the state of affairs after 25 years when these kids will grow up? And the only reason is relationship issues. Both are working, both think that I am a VIP, both want equal rights. આપણે તો ઘરમાં બધાનું જોઈએ ને, તો થોડું વડીલ હોય, હવે પ્રશાંતભાઈ આવે તો મારે પગે લાગવાનું. That makes a huge difference. That's my culture. That is what I have learned. I have got a special regards for him. And that gets reflected everywhere and whatever I do, knowingly or unknowingly. હવે ત્યાં તો થોડું થાય, હાલથી છૂટા. And you don't realize how badly it is going to impact the economy. અત્યારે જ અમારા 12 વાગેલા છે, 25 વર્ષ પછી શું થશે કોને ખબર, right? Relationship, emotions, and more importantly to understand others' emotions. The third thing which this involves is the motivation. દરેક માણસને સાહેબ કોઈ પણ માણસ હોય મોટિવેશન તો જોઈએ જ, મોટિવેશન તો જોઈએ, right? I tell you, many times now I realize when we used to be in the professional field, we used to do mistakes, but the boss will say, Rajesh, you have done a nice job. I know it has not achieved the results, but I think you have put extraordinary efforts. પાછું આપણને લાગે સાહેબ extraordinary effort, બહુ સરસ કર્યું કામ આપણે. At least you are motivated for the next job. Otherwise he can ask and keep shouting at me, firing at me. तुमको काम दिया था उसने किया, तुम तो कर ही नहीं सकता है, सब लोग बराबर हैं, क्या करता है तुम, बार बार यही मिस्टेक हो रहा है तेरा. He feel dejected, you will feel dejected. Third, and especially in this environment wherein we are living in a social media, मैडम आप फेसबुक यूज़ करते हैं, इंस्टाग्राम, स्नैपचैट, टिकटॉक, ઇન્ડિયામાં તો બેન છે, હા, VPN થ્રુ, જો આ પાછો એનો રસ્તો કાઢ્યો. This is social media. This is social media. So you need to be very careful what you write. And I'll tell you something very important. When I went to get my visa for US, Prashant bhai, they asked me what is your Facebook ID. मैं बोला वीज़ा तुम्हारा प्रोफेशनल धंधा करने के लिए चला, मेरा फेसबुक का आईडी को लेके क्या करेगा, ना इट्स कंपल्सरी, यू हैव टू राइट इट. एंड दे एक्चुअली सर्च्ड who are my friends, what kind of things I upload, what kind of photographs have I upload on the social media, and they are trying to evaluate what is the ecosystem in which I live. That will be my nature, that will be my environment. And not the least and the last but very important, we need to learn and grow. Mistakes તો બધાથી થવાની છે, but if you repeat the mistake then you are a fool. એકવાર કરો બરાબર છે, ગમે તેવી મિસ્ટેક કરો એકવાર કરો, but then you should know that that was my mistake and you should work on it. So how these emotions arise in the mind? So there are three parts of your brain, three parts. Manish bhai, આપણે are we animals? We are animals. Huh? We are animals. You are chimpanzee. We are evolved animals. So scientifically, sir, we become animals at times. We become animals at times. We are animals. Even today, scientifically, our classification is animals, Homo sapiens. And madam, 99% of your DNA is still the same as that of a chimpanzee. 99%. There is only 1% difference, and that 1% difference is in the cerebral cortex. That is the only part which has developed. ચિમ્પાન્જીને બે આંખ છે, મારે બે આંખ છે, ચિમ્પાન્જીને એક નાક છે, મારે એક નાક છે, ચિમ્પાન્જીને એક માઉથ છે, મારે પણ એક માઉથ છે. The only difference which has happened in last so many thousand years is the development of the cerebral cortex. And this cerebral cortex is the one which is responsible for your IQ, memory, logic, quantitative reasoning. આ પેલી IIT ની એક્ઝામ આપો ને ક્વોન્ટિટેટિવ રિઝનિંગની, લોજિકની ને બધે. That is your IQ. That's the cerebral cortex, and that is the part. And I can guarantee you, Manish bhai, your kids would be more intelligent than you, because their cerebral cortex is further evolving, and their kids would be even more. એટલે તમારે જે પોતા હશે એ તો કહે છે દાદા તો how, it's obvious, that is how we are evolving. That's the main difference. And there is a part in the brain, cerebral cortex, which is called amygdala. That's where you secrete the hormones. Right? These hormones are then circulated in the whole body through blood. હવે મેડમને મેં ખખડાયો હોય, મેડમને ગુસ્સો આવે ને ગુસ્સો આવે તો અમુક વાર તો your body language, everything changes, because all the organs are getting affected. It's not that your brain is getting affected. Every single organ is getting affected because the hormones are circulating to each and every organ of the body. And the second part, the subconscious mind, that is controlled by medulla. મેડમ જમવાનું કેટલા વાગે રાત્રે? 7:30. ઊંઘવાનો કેટલા વાગે? તમે 9 વાગે ના ઊંઘી શકો. કોલેજ ઇન ધ મોર્નિંગ 9 o'clock, 7:30, 1.5 કલાકમાં તમારું ખાવાનું પચી જાય. How much time does it take for you to digest the food? It takes around 18 to 24 hours to digest your food completely. 18 to 24 hours. She takes her dinner at 7:30 and sleeps at 9. But somebody is working and digesting the whole food. બરાબર મણિનગરમાં રાત્રે 1:30 વાગ્યા બેન જઈને ખાઈ આવે પાવભાજી. And the brain works. You don't decide that I'm going to breathe today. You continuously breathe. Your heart keeps pumping the blood. That's all controlled by medulla. And whenever there are harmonic secretions, they get disturbed, everything in the body gets disturbed. અમુક વાર એક્ઝામ, any student here, any other students? એક્ઝામની એન્ઝાયટી હોય ને થોડી કેવું થાય કલાક પહેલાં જો પ્રિપેર ના કર્યું હોય તો कि चलो यार 4 नहीं अपन तो 3 क्वेश्चन ही आंसर करके आएगा, लेकिन 3 बराबर करेगा, 3 अरे यार ये तो आता नहीं, 2. दैट एंग्जाइटी keeps building. एंड અમુક વાર તો લોકો પછી જતા રસ્તેથી પાછા આવી જાય, I think I should give the exam next year. It becomes so much. There is some secretions happening in the brain, though he is fully prepared, but then at that moment of time he thinks that it's better for me. Do you know people commit suicide? Why? Not able to control emotions? Nope. Why people commit suicide? Because at that moment of time they think that is the best option for them. Impulsive, and they just jump. End of the story. They are not able to control. And there is no solution. એ માણસને તમે જો ધારો કે પકડી લીધો અને બચાવી લીધો હોય ને તો કંઈ સુધરી નથી જવાનો. But you have controlled his impulsive emotions for that 1 minute, and then it's fine, okay, life goes on, right? So that's how you control the emotions. That once અમુક વાર જે લોકોને ગુસ્સો આવતો હોય ને વિનોદભાઈ આપણને, તો સાયન્ટિફિકલી એવું કહે છે, just hold your anger for 90 seconds and everything will change, guaranteed. Just your hold the anger for 90 seconds, all the problems are solved. Once you get into that loop, if you lose yourself in those first 90 seconds, પછી તો ચાલવાનું જ છે, પછી it's going to be cyclic, one after the other. पहले वो भाई के ऊपर आएगा, फिर माँ के ऊपर आएगा, बहन के ऊपर आएगा, दादा के ऊपर आएगा, परिवार के ऊपर आएगा, गांव को भी ले लेगा, देश को भी ले लेगा. But you need, if you control that 90 seconds, you are done with your life. I'm telling you. Observe it from today onwards. Whenever you are having any negative emotions, whenever you are having any anger in your mind, when you feel frustrated, give a break of 90 seconds. 90 seconds is not going to change anything in your life, right? Control it for 90 seconds, madam. और मेरे को बताना कि फ़र्क पड़ा कि नहीं पड़ा. हाँ जी, द डिफिकल्ट पार्ट इज टू कंट्रोल. हाँ, सो इसीलिए मैं बोल रहा हूं ना कि 90 सेकेंड्स का पॉज दे दो, सोच करके पॉज दो. आप यू हैव टू टेल योर ब्रेन नो, आई हैव टू स्टॉप इट, आई हैव टू स्टॉप इट, आई हैव टू स्टॉप इट. यू हैव टू टीच योर ब्रेन. ब्रेन को जैसा अब रोता है, हंसता है, किसने सिखाया? Did somebody tell you when to cry and when to laugh? We have learned through the environment, because when my mom was playing with me when I was a 3 days old baby, and when I get milk, she used to say ha 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 ha. So I picked up that if I'm happy, I have to laugh, I have to smile. And I realized that if I cry, my mom is going to give me the milk, so I started crying. There is an interesting story in India, I think. There was a baby lost in a jungle, and she lived with monkeys for a while, and she used to behave exactly like monkeys. The whole environment of that girl was of the monkeys. So actually she was jumping from one tree to the other tree. It took couple of years for them to train her to walk again like a human being, because the brain has learned that. It's the environment through which we learn, right? So control भी आपको सीखना पड़ेगा. दुख को पी लो 90 सेकेंड के लिए. The third part is the cerebellum, very important. Any sports person over here? Athlete? Sports person? हाँ? Mountaineering. आप माउंटेनियरिंग करता कभी नीचे गिरा? बहुत बार होता है. कौन संभालता है आपको बॉडी को? You automatically balance. Your brain does thousands of calculations and make sure that you are safe. It is protecting you. The person, P.T. Usha, she runs 100 meters in 10 seconds, but she doesn't fall down. The brain does. There are 1 trillion synapses which are occurring in that 10 seconds, and she keeps her balance on the road. She will not fall down. That's all done by the cerebellum. Anyway, let's not get into the functions of the brain, but what we are trying to understand is the secretion of the hormones which controls our emotions. Point number 1. Second is controlling the emotions. So hold it for a while, or try to teach your brain that I need to hold it for a while, right? टेम्परामेंट कंट्रोल करने का सबसे बढ़िया तरीका मालूम है क्या है? फास्टिंग. If you want to control your temperament, do fasting. Every single religion on this earth, Christianity, Muslim, Jainism, Hinduism, they all will talk about 2 things. All, without any exception. One is fasting. Do you realize that? Fasting is the first way to control your brain. આપણે તો સાહેબ અડધો કલાક ખાવાનું ના મળે તો કેવું અંદર ધમ થાય. And second thing is meditation. Tolerance. कैसे आता है tolerance? What is the second biggest thing which every single religion teaches? Forgiveness. Confession. मैडम आदमी खून करके भी चर्च में जाता है, फादर को बोलता है, कन्फेशन करता है. And you will be surprised, as per the Indian Penal Code, if you go in the court and tell the judge, I plead guilty, your sentence is cut to half. आप sorry बोला है. I have said sorry. It was my mistake. I accept it. The sooner you start arguing, your sentence will keep going up. You know that? Any lawyer here? Because you are building on the basis of something which is untrue. Your penalty will be very high, very high. Forgiveness is the biggest thing in the world. દિલથી નહીં કરવું જોઈએ. પાછું આમ ફોરગીવ એટલે સોરી કરીને નીકળી જાઓ ને એવું નહીં, ઠોકીને એક પાર અમે સોરી. It should come from your heart. So this is how the whole action happens. We have got emotions which are coming up in our body. This emotions reflects as words what we speak. If you go to any big person, કેતુભાઈ ને ઓઝા સાહેબ ને મળ્યો, the way he speaks, calm, composed, not agitated, આરામથી મને સમજાવે, right? So that is all because of the emotions, maturity, wisdom, right? That gets reflected. This becomes your actions. That is your habit. That is your habit, right? The difference is, have you come across any policeman, traffic policeman or any, the way he speaks with you? Hey, अरे बाजू में रख, लाइसेंस दिखा, दिखता नहीं क्या ट्रैफिक रेड लाइट, he is used to that. If he says कि सर आपका लाइसेंस दिखाइए, तो आप तो बोलेगा तेरा मेरा बाप का नाम मालूम है क्या तेरे को, होता है ना ऐसा. So he is used to that environment, and that is how he has built up his actions. And if he doesn't behave like that, everybody will not follow the traffic regulations. He knows that. और वो भी हर एक गाड़ी जा रहा है. Imagine his power. Every car is going, but he will pick up the car which he realizes that probably कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. वो फेस देख के उसको लगता है गाड़ी તમારી ગાડી બાજુ રાખો, બધી બધી જાય છે, તમારી ગાડી બાજુમાં રાખો. और वो देख लिया आपका लाइसेंस नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, तो पकड़ेगा वो बराबर से. That's his experience. So this all put together builds up our actions. That becomes our habit. And knowingly or unknowingly, it gets reflected. It gets reflected. Right? So they say the character of the person is not the one which is shown to the others. आपके सामने तो मैं अच्छे बोलने वाला है ना. Your character is when you are alone. See what you are doing. Reflect to yourself. Have I done anything wrong? आज मैं कितनी बार झूठ बोला, कितना गलत काम किया, या दिन में एक बार रात को सोने के पहले सोचो क्या नहीं करना चाहिए था. जो किया वो तो किया, हो गया, खत्म है. क्या नहीं करना चाहिए था ना, उससे कोई नथिंग इज गोइंग टू चेंज साहब, नथिंग इज गोइंग टू चेंज. But at least your subconscious mind will know that this should not have been done. That gets registered somewhere. And if it happens multiple times, then it will become part of your habit. But then you have to make sure that your brain gets used to it. And that's how you build the character. And which leads to the happiness. So basic fundamental question which people normally ask, so I thought I'll address that also. What is the difference between IQ and EQ? So IQ is nothing but your visual processing, reasoning capabilities, quantitative reasoning, memory and all that. And what is your EQ? EQ is how you relate yourself to the others, how well you understand others and your emotions. And third is how do you manage your relationship between all this. And let me tell you, if you see the track record of the most successful people on this earth, they are not the university toppers, they are not from IIT and IIMs. They are the people who had the highest EQ, better than mine, right? I know a friend of mine, my schoolmate, શાહીબાગ અમદાવાદમાં ભણેલો છું, 10મા ધોરણમાં ફેલ થયો, આજે 150 કરોડનો ધંધો કરે છે અમદાવાદમાં, because his relationship management, EQ, much higher. Yes, probably his IQ was not there. He could not retain what history was being taught that time. That doesn't mean that you are not good. Okay? So IQ, now what is the why it matters? So IQ is, especially in the Indian environment, Prashant bhai, it's very important. કેમ કે તમારે જાઓ ને તો પેલું માર્કશીટ જ જોવે પહેલા તો. So to get an entry, IQ is important. But once you got the entry, your promotion will depend on EQ. Then your IQ has no role to play. Then your IQ has got no role to play. અને મારો જ દાખલો આપો, હું એન્જિનિયરિંગમાં ગયો, ભણ્યો, મનીષભાઈ તમે બોલતા નહીં વધાર્યો, આપણે સૌથી છેલ્લા, પણ all the professor used to think that Rajesh is a very sincere boy. Pass. Relationship, EQ, right? So there has to be a proper balance. And more importantly, more and more you grow, more and more senior you become, more relevant it becomes. Now, all these thoughts which comes to our mind, which drives our emotions, what is the basic concept, how it works in your mind? So what we reveal is our conscious mind. What we reveal is our conscious mind. मैडम का नाम रानी है, मैडम कल कॉलेज जाने वाली, my conscious mind. And your conscious mind can think only about one thing at a time. Conscious mind cannot think multiple things. એક જ વસ્તુ કરી શકે. એટલે જ આપણે કહીએ ને ફોકસ કરો, ફોકસ કરો, ફોકસ કરો. If you focus on one thing, it will happen, right? Because our conscious mind can think, it has only one pattern. It cannot have two patterns at all. The second thing is the subconscious mind, which is your experiences, which is your memory, which is your learning, which is what you have seen, wisdom. And they say scientifically it is 60% of your subconscious mind which works. Conscious mind is hardly 20%. It's hardly 20%. I'll give you a classic example. So we were recruiting a head of Europe for a $10 billion multinational company of India. So HR would have done due diligence, they shortlisted so many candidates, બધા ગોરા ધોરા બોરા આપણા ઇન્ડિયન બધા. પછી છેલ્લે 3 શોર્ટલિસ્ટ કરાવ્યા, 3માંથી પછી વિડિયો ઇન્ટરવ્યૂ થઈ ગયું, and we finally selected one person to head the European operations. બિઝનેસ ક્લાસની ટિકિટ બુક કરી. અમારે ફોર્મેલિટી હોય કે સાહેબ એકવાર આવે ને જોઈન કરે તો ચેરમેનને એકવાર મળાવી દેવાનું 5 મિનિટ માટે. So he came to India, such a senior guy, so I was also accompanying him. Eventually he is going to be my boss. Sitting in the conference room, the chairman came, Bombay માં, દરવાજો ખોલ્યો, એને જોયું, દરવાજો બંધ. And he told me, Rajesh, he is no good for my company. I was shocked. मैंने बोला सर इतना पैसा खर्च करके उधर से भेजा है, इतना लोगों को शॉर्टलिस्ट किया, 6 महीने का एक्सरसाइज चल रहा है, कितना लोगों को बोला है, उसको हम ये भी बोला है कि ये फॉर्मेलिटी है, खाली चेयरमैन को मिलने का है, यू हैव टू स्टार्ट द जॉब एंड ऑल दैट. बोले नो राजेश, नो. सर इतना आया, एटलीस्ट मानसिक हमें पर्सनल કેટલું ખોટું લાગે માણસને, एक बार उसको मिल तो लो सर 5 मिनट के लिए. हाँ बोले तुम मिलने का कोई प्रॉब्लम, मैं दिन भर बैठूंगा उसके साथ, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बुलाओ उसको, वी विल गो फॉर लंच, नो प्रॉब्लम, बट ही इज नॉट गेटिंग रिक्रूटेड फॉर माई कंपनी. तो मैंने पूछू, सर हाउ डू यू थिंक सो, वाई डू यू थिंक सो, यू हैव जस्ट सीन हिम अ ग्लांस, राइट? ही सेड डोंट आस्क मी, देयर आर मिलियंस ऑफ information which is getting processed in my mind and then comes out the decision. अभी chairman को we cannot say no ना, हाँ sir very good, ठीक है, खत्म. After 1 year the same gentleman was caught in a fraud and he was put behind bars. That was the character probably he would have read through his emotions, experience, learning, right? અમે સાહેબ બધું તપાસ કરી હતી, એચઆર વાળા બધું શોધી કાઢ્યું, પણ જે બેસિક નેચર છે માણસનો એ ચેન્જ ન થાય ને ક્યારેક ને ક્યાંક ને ક્યાંક તો એક ફસાઈ જ જાય. સો that's what is the wisdom, I would say the wisdom, emotional intelligence, what we call that. Then comes the unconscious mind, and that is very important and dangerous. We always conceal the things which we don't want to express. It's very difficult to say somebody I love you. It's very difficult. And એમાં રહી જાય આખું. It takes huge efforts to conceal, to reveal the things which are concealed in your mind. It's very difficult. And that's exactly what we do all the time. And that creates all the problems because we are trying to hide something in our life. Then what happens is, any situation your mind keeps working, so there is a lot of internal dialogue. અચ્છા મારે અહીંથી ઉદયપુર જવાનું છે, ઉદયપુર જઈશ એટલે પેલો ટોલ નાકા આવશે, ટોલ નાકા ઉપર રસ્તો ખરાબ છે, ત્યાં બ્રિજનો કન્સ્ટ્રક્શન થાય છે, એ બ્રિજનો કન્સ્ટ્રક્શન પણ ત્યાં તો ના આપણે છે ને મોડાસા થઈને, I am doing a lot of internal dialogue with myself, trying to understand what is the best fit, and that happens for everything, right? For every process. Go and ask your wife what to cook in the evening. She will be doing thousands of calculations and પછી કહેશે આજે ટામેટા બટાટાનો શાક બનાવી દઈએ. There is a lot of thought which has gone through. Why she has not said ભીંડા? કદાચ ભીંડા નહીં હોય ઘરમાં, right? If you don't even know, and then you say, કેમ આજે ટમાટર બટાટાનો શાક બનાવ્યો? અરે બાબા, there are 1,000 different reasons which would have gone through in her mind to decide what to cook. Right? So there is a lot of internal dialogue. And the last is understanding the desires. તમારો મોટિવ શું છે? Everything is based on motive. આજે તમને કોઈ કહે ને કે તમને 10 रुपया આપવાનો છું, 10 रुपया छोड़ो, वो बोलेगा आपको 1 रुपया देगा, आपका ईमेल एड्रेस फोन नंबर दे दो, फ्री 1 रुपया देगा. ईमेल एड्रेस फोन नंबर બધું આધાર કાર્ડ બધું ઠટાખટ ફિટ કરી દો તમે અંદર. Your desire is to get that 1 rupee free, right? I don't know, and you never know how he's going to use it. How he's going to use it. But that for 1 rupee free, you will do, I mean, 10 rupee. મોંઘી વધાઈ ગઈ, મોંઘવારી વધી ગઈ. So why EI? So EI, as you would have realized by now, it affects the performance at your work, it affects your relationship with your partner, it affects your mental and physical health. Anybody has gone through depression in their life? Anybody has gone through depression in their life? One. Only one person. All other 99 are telling a lie. All other 99 are telling a lie. Theoretically, they say every person goes through depression in their lifetime at least once. કોકમાં વધારે હોય, કોકમાં ઓછું હોય. સેડનેસનું ફિલિંગ આવે, આજે મારે ઉઠવું નથી, ઓફિસ જવું નથી, થાય ને એવું. So earlier it was a taboo કે મારે નથી કેવું. Depression, oh my God, આનો છોકરો ડિપ્રેશનમાં જાય. But now we realize that depression is nothing but it's a biological cycle. It is controlled by the hormones. And I know that if there is a depression, I need to inject serotonin. હાર્મોનનો ઇન્જેક્શન ઠોકી દો એટલે મહિનામાં તૈયાર માણસ પાછો રોડ ઉપર. It's nothing wrong. Everybody has to go through. There might be n number of reasons. And probably the more protected you are. Another interesting fact. Most of the suicides are done by the people who are extra rich. They are not falling short of money. But they get so confused with their own self that they are unable to process their own thoughts. Competition, ego, ema kudko maar de. Right? So it's very dangerous. Good. So I'm not going to spend time on this, why emotional intelligence is important at work. I think by this time you would have realized, whether it is in terms of retention of your job, getting a promotion, working with the clients, and these days it's very competitive. The whole ecosystem works as a whole, you know, I mean, nobody is self-sufficient. Everybody has got their subcontractors will have their own subcontractors, so you have to maintain that relationship. And if you are able to maintain that, then you are successful. These are few statistics which talks about how it works, what kind of savings you can actually get. So emotional intelligence is, eventually I would conclude, as twice important than your cognitive intelligence. તમારામાં અક્કલ હોવી જોઈએ, બુદ્ધિ હોવી જોઈએ, એને કઈ રીતે વાપરવું એ ખબર પડવું જોઈએ. But more important is how well you maintain these emotions in your life, right? How well you maintain these emotions in your life, and they are the ones which will make you eventually feel happy. They are the ones which will make you feel contented. Without that you cannot. Without, yes madam. So that's where you need to have a guts, and that's where your mind should be clear in terms of whether I want to address this or I don't want to address this. The sooner you decide internally that I don't want to address this, cut it off. You cannot please everybody on this earth every time. No, don't do that. You have to take a decision. Everywhere you cannot win. You cannot. So if you decide that this is not something which I would like to pursue further, cut it off. End of the story. Good. Now, આ બધું જાણી લીધું, પણ આપણને ખબર કઈ રીતે પડે કે આપણે કેટલું ઇમોશનલ ઇન્ટેલિજન્સ છે? How do we know? What are the signals? Right? So the first thing which happens is lack of inclusivity. So the sooner you try, you realize, and you will realize, a decision is being taken in the corporate, there are 5 directors sitting, one will dominate, one is, ના આમ કરી નાખો, મારે મને ખબર છે ને 15 વર્ષથી કરું છું, કરી નાખો, and it's final. No, that's not. If you are not able to convince your team members that this is the right option, it's not done. It's not done. You need to have consent. They are being partner in your business. You need to have their consent. They may agree, they may not agree, but you should be able to explain why you are right. ઠોકી નહીં દેવાનું ને. ઠોકતો તો એક વાર માનશે, 2 વાર માનશે, પછી તો કહે આ દર વખતે આવું જ કરે, જવા દો ને, મારે નોકરી જ નથી કરવી અહીંયા. Second is denial mode. As I said, most of the time, અમુક વાર તો એવું થાય કોર્પોરેટ વર્લ્ડમાં માણસ રૂમમાં અંદર આવે ને, बाजूवालों के जो ये आके यही बोलने वाला है, देखना यही बोलेगा, इसका रोना है, हर समय यही रोना होता है. प्रमोशन नहीं मळ्યું, प्रमोशन नहीं मळ्યું, प्रमोशन नहीं मळ्યું, दर वर्ष आवीने आनो आज राड़ा पाड़શે. एंड देन ही इज ऑल्सो ट्यून, वो इस बार भी नहीं देगा, बोले कहीं नहीं जाने वाला, ये यहीं रहने वाला है, इसको दो ही मत. यू हैव सेट योर ओन स्टैंडर्ड and you are not even hearing to him. What is the problem? Both will suffer. Blame game. Sorry बोलने में अच्छा लगता है मैडम? कभी नहीं लगता ना. I will say that's you. That's happy. That's happiness. That will lead you to happiness, right? So don't blame anybody unless you are 100% sure that it was his or her mistake. There might be 1000 reasons, સાહેબ, આપણને ખબર પણ નહીં પડે એની પાછળ શું actual reason હતું. And we keep shouting and blaming others for this, A, B, C, D, right? That's something is, and you will realize when you grow in the corporate world, as you grow up, people don't start talking about anything. When we were younger engineers, સાહેબ, અડધો ટાઈમ તો એમ જ જાય કે પેલો સાહેબનો માણસ છે ને, જો આ કરશે તો આ બધું એનું સાંભળી લેશે, મારું તો સાંભળશે જ નહીં, પેલો કંઈ કરતો જ નથી તો એને દર વર્ષે પ્રમોશન મળે છે, કંઈ જ નથી કરતો. બોલો, जिंदगी तो अपने ही कंधों पे जीने का है, जिंदगी तो अपने ही कदमों पे जीने का है. दूसरों के कंधों पे तो जनाजे निकलते हैं, दूसरे के ऊपर तुम पाँव लगा के ऐसा, यू कैन नॉट. Short term, once, twice, yes, not forever. Sometimes there is another problem. Refusing to hear, accept. Suppose we two are fighting. We go to the boss, right? Boss has to hear both of them. You do whatever you want to do. I am not saying change your decision, but at least you need to give a patient hearing. So in my job function, I was at 3 years different department at a different location. So I was posted in HR for 3 years. The toughest job of my life. Every single letter is signed by me as the head of HR. The employees thinks that I am promoting them. એક પૈસાનો સાહેબ increment ના આપી શકું. The increment comes from the departmental manager. I am only signing the letter. I got so frustrated, I cannot promote anybody, I cannot increase anybody's salary, then why the hell I am sitting here as a head of HR? So I went to my director, मैंने बोला छोड़ दो मेरे को, नौकरी ये डिपार्टमेंट में नहीं करने का, सब ट्रांसफर कर दो. बोला यहाँ हूँ बस. यू नो व्हाट इज़ योर जॉब? समझा दो सर, मेरे को अभी तक तो समझ में नहीं आया. बोले योर जॉब इज टू जस्ट हियर. Everybody will come with different grudges. Your job is to give a patient hearing to them. And I tell you, the day I learned that practice, my whole life changed. My whole perspective changed. And the sooner I started hearing, people started coming up with their own personal problems. उनका पर्सनल प्रॉब्लम सुन के लगा मैं तो बहुत खुश हूं, मेरे जितना खुश तो कोई है ही नहीं. બધાના દિલમાં હોય ને, કોક તો સાંભળવાવાળું હોવું જોઈએ ને. There has to be somebody. If you don't have a friend, at least you should have one friend in your life. Make it a point today with whom you can go and tell anything and everything. If you want to be happy in your life, there are two most important things. Very, very important. One is a friend with whom you can share any shit. ગમે તે હોય એને કહી શકો તમે. કોકનું ખૂન કર્યું હોય ને, તમારામાં તાકાત હોવી જોઈએ કે તમારા દોસ્તારને જઈને કહી શકો કે મેં આનું ખૂન કરીને આવ્યો છું. Second, you should always have a mentor. Always have a mentor. And it should not be a family member, father or સસરાને mentor નહીં રાખવાનો. Third person. Why? Because he is the one who can audit your actions. He is the one who will be a third neutral party who can tell you. Do you think Mr. Narendra Modi is taking all the decisions about 1.4 crore people what to do in each department? No. He has got advisors. What he does, he decides. But somebody is telling him, sir, Ahmedabad માં 6 overbridge જોઈએ. Sir, this is the problem with the poor people in the country. Sir, we should have an Awas Yojana. Sir, we should have minimum wages, right? And then he will decide what to do. But unless somebody tells him, he cannot think and decide about so many different things, right? You always need a mentor. We are animals. We are animals. We always fight for. What are the three things for which we fight? Madam, piche. What are the three things for which we fight all the life? Huh? Food. Yes. Roti, kapda, makan. Food. Territory. मेरा घर है 4 बेडरूम का है, मनीष का तो 6 बेडरूम का घर हो गया, अभी मेरे को भी 6 बेडरूम का बनाने का है. One is food, second is territory. How territory? I mean, it's so important. Do you know, in 220 square kilometers there can be only one king lion. બીજો લાયન આવે ને મારી કાઢે, એક જ રાજા હોય, 220 square kilometers સાહેબ. And the third thing is mate. We always fight throughout the life for our mate, always. So that is an animal instinct in us even alive today, right? And that's the reason why another important psychological factor is we are always under fear. ગમે તે હોય, ચાલો હું એક્ઝામને મોડું થઈશ તો શું થશે, એમાં ને એમાં રહી જાઉં, એમાં ને એમાં તૈયાર કરવામાં ઘરેથી નીકળતા મોડું થઈ જાય, રાઈટ? अच्छा मैं उधर जाऊंगा, वो मेरे को फिर ये पूछेगा, फिर वो पूछेगा, और वो तो मेरे पास है नहीं, अच्छा ठीक है मैं कल जाता हूँ. There is always a fear, right? But remember, this fear is there with everybody. You don't have to put yourself back because of that. Because the sooner you put it back, you have lost your control. You have lost your control. I'll give you a classic example how it works before we touch base on spirituality. Unfortunately, I lost my mother last month. So I was in touch with my brother. He said she has fallen down, she's going to get operated, she's in the hospital. So in the afternoon, 4 or 5 hours before the flight, I thought let me go. 4 घंटे के पहले कोई टिकट मिलता है? साहब મને છેલ્લી 3 ટિકિટ મળી, છેલ્લી 3 ટિકિટ મળી, આ મારું ભાગ્ય. We landed in Bombay, then I had to fly to Udaipur. We didn't realize all the time we have come here, the flight was from the same terminal. This flight was from another domestic terminal. રાતના 3 વાગ્યા. હવે રાતના 3 વાગ્યા domestic terminal ઉપર જાવું, before that our flight got delayed. So we had a 3-hour margin which got reduced to 2 hours. હવે 3 વાગે 2 વાગે તમે રાત્રે બહાર આવો ને ખબર પડે કે બીજા ટર્મિનલ ઉપર જવાનું છે. Somehow we managed a prepaid taxi. We went outside. The taxi man is sleeping. बोले साहब कहाँ जाने का है? मैंने बोला टर्मिनल 2. साहब इतना रात का भाड़ा मैं दिन भर से यहीं पे सो रहा हूँ, भाड़े के लिए सो रहा हूँ, अभी इसमें मेरे को 100 रुपये में क्या मिलेगा सर, आप दूसरा गाड़ी ले लो. उसको मैं ये भी नहीं बोल सकता ना कि मेरी माँ बीमार है, उसको क्या पड़ा है. Somehow we convinced him. We went there. Now another 1 hour delayed. It was hardly 45 minutes left and we are still at the CISF security gate. तो हम दौड़ के गए सिक्योरिटी के पास, साहब हमारा फ्लाइट है, मिस होने वाला है, इधर लंदन से आया है, कुछ करो प्लीज. तो बोला आपका गेट पर बोर्डिंग पास है. मैंने बोला सर बोर्डिंग पास तो नहीं है. आई डोंट नो व्हाट हैपेंड. ही वुड हैव रियलाइज्ड विद हिज एक्सपीरियंस. ठीक है आप निकल जाओ. वी गॉट थ्रू. हमको देखा तो पीछे 2 लोग और हमारे आया. आई एम जस्ट क्रॉसिंग द बैरियर दैट गेट. अनदर 2 people केम. हमारे भी फ्लाइट है सर. And the same security fellow in front of me, he's telling them, थोड़ा जल्दी आया करो, पीछे लाइन में लग जाओ. Right? We got that flight and we reached. When I landed, the first thing was in my mind, I should meet my mother. I was getting signals that she is extremely unwell and she is unconscious, by the way. It so happened that I reached the hospital, I am there inside it and I could see the monitor going flat. There is no verbal communication, there is no language which can interpret these feelings, but that's something emotional. That's something I would call it as a spiritual. And that's where I want to touch next in terms of how it helps. I don't think we have got time to work on this, but these are the things. For theoretical people, for the younger ones, they were asking how do we manage this emotion. So there are 4, Jam Prashant Bhai Kidu, Daniel Goleman has defined the 4 steps, 4 things if you can control. One is this self-awareness. If you know what is wrong with you, then probably you can work on it. Second is the self-management. So you need to have your own practices, learn those practices from the others, have a mentor who can audit them whether they are good or not. The third one is the relationship management, and the fourth one is the social awareness, because these days it's very important that you have your social standing, right? હવે પેલું ડીજી યાત્રા કયું ડીજી યાત્રા ચાલુ થયું છે. So you don't even have to take a boarding pass. You know that? That's your social score. Somebody has already checked your profile, somebody has already checked your authenticity, all security checks been done and you just scan. That's your social score. And they say this social score is going to become so important. China, they have done a research and I think next year they are implementing. Every person will have their social score out of 1000, and if it is less than 600, you cannot travel in any public transport, you cannot take a flight. 3 વાર દારૂ પીને સિગ્નલ તોડ્યું હોય ને સાહેબ તો લાયસન્સ લઈ લે તમારો, પતી ગયું. So that social score is also going to be very important. So we come to, so we have understand how it works in our life, the emotions, the balance of emotions, how they we maintain the balance and control of these emotions, and how it affects the spirituality of our life. So what is spirituality? Eventually everybody is looking for the peace, right? શાંતિ મળવી જોઈએ ને. માણસ મરી જાય તો આપણને કે એની આત્માને શાંતિ મળે. You want shanti, peace. That everybody accepts, right? But what is this peace? जैन साहब आपको मैं 2 करोड़ रुपए दूंगा, पीस आ जाएगा आपको? और ज़्यादा. That's the answer. That's the answer I wanted to hear. Money actually corrupts. My father always taught me. If you don't have money, nobody will respect you. You should have money, but only to an extent that you don't become dependent on that money. Money should not start corrupting you. The point you realize that I am getting into that deep luxury, you are actually killing your own life. You are actually killing your own life. So what is this spirituality? Spirituality, as per me, it is the internal and external peace which we are fighting for every now and then. That has got nothing to do with your possessions, that has got nothing to do with your materialistic life, that has got nothing to do with how many flats you have in Mumbai or how many cars you can drive, right? That's the real spirituality. And once you know that you have to achieve this, all the decisions which you make, the compassion which you express, leads to the spirituality. Leads to the spirituality. And the third is people like Vinod Bhai. He runs our alumni. There are more than 10,000 students. You send a message to him, within 1 hour you will get a response. Even if he doesn't respond, he will say, I am in Australia, I will respond to you once I am back. And he will make sure that he responds it. That's basically achieving the level of compassion. It's my job, it's my commitment, I am not going to get, and nobody pays him for that job, by the way, right? He's doing as he's passionate about it. That's the passion, that's the compassion which you need to follow. And once you achieve this, the materialistic world is nothing. कितना लोग भगवान में विश्वास करता है? आप करता है सर भगवान में? कौन सा भगवान है आपका? सिंधी? हाँ? झूलेलाल. अरे वाह. सर आपका कौन सा भगवान है? તમે કયા ભગવાનમાં માનો છો? कृष्णा. कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे. आपका सर? महावीर भगवान. अपना कॉमन भगवान है. Anybody else? Christian, Muslim? Why do you believe in God? देखा कभी सर भगवान महावीर को देखा? देखा आपने? किधर देखा? You can imagine that. I can imagine anything. આ સાહેબ મારું તમે ઇમેજિનેશન જોશો તો પછી મારું ઇમેજિનેશન તો ધમધમાટ છે. Why do we believe in God? I don't think anybody has seen the God, right? Then why do you believe? You have not even seen. You have not even experienced. Why do you believe in God?
We have not seen the air. Air is there everywhere, but we have not seen.
No, air I can feel, sir. उसमें 1% ऑक्सीजन कम होता है तो पूरा वर्ल्ड हिल जाता है.
Only God. I have not seen air. Right? Nobody has seen air.
Air, okay. हाँ. Why do you believe in God? Keeps you stable. I think that's the answer. We always fear somebody, and our mindset is मेरे ऊपर भी कोई है जो मुझे देख रहा है, मैं गलत नहीं करूँगा. There is somebody. कोई मंदिर में जाके बोलता है कि नहीं कल जाकर के मैं पांडे को चाकू मार दूंगा. भगवान के सामने हाथ जोड़ के गलती माफ़ करना, भगवान मेरा दिन अच्छा जाए, मेरा बंदा अच्छा हो जाए, मनीष भाई का पेमेंट आ जाए, बस मेरे को यही चाहिए. Right? There is a fear. And that is the real spirituality which will lead to your internal and external peace. Have you heard of Finland? Why it is famous? Happiness. Why they are the most happiest people for ages and decades? એ પણ માણસ છે ને, એ લોકો ચીઝ ટોસ્ટ ખાતા હશે, આપણે પાવભાજી ખાઈએ, ફરક છે પૂરાનો. But why they are so happy? There is no comparison कि मेरे पास मर्सिडीज है और इसके पास मारुति 800 है, उसका 4 बेडरूम का घर है, मेरा 3 बेडरूम का घर है. There is no comparison. Nobody compares. Almost everybody has got exactly the same lifestyle. And who cares? 5 વાગ્યા પછી બધા સરખા. બે રોટલી જ ખાવાની છે ને. તમને 8 આપું મફતમાં 6 તો ખાશો? નીકળી જશે ઓટોમેટિક. You can't. It's again a mental state. You have to accept it. Similarly, many of you, anybody from Japan? Ikigai? Another strong tool. What they say, simple, fundamentally what they say that you should be in the vocation wherein you are skilled and you enjoy doing it. पैसा कम मिलेगा ज़्यादा मिलेगा उसका चिंता मत करो. As long as you enjoy your job, you should be in that job. The second thing they say is you should be passionate about it. You should love doing this. You should get involved in this. You should અમુક લોકોને હોય ને, મેં કહું તો यही करने का, मैं तो यही करेगा, ના ના મારે ત્યાં બીજા ડિપાર્ટમેન્ટ જવું જ નથી, મારે આમાં જ રહેવાનું. That's his passion. So once there is a right combination of your profession, and your mission. You need to have a mission. As I said, you need to have a mentor. He will decide what is good and bad for you. Once there is a good combination of these two, you are done. Your soul will be spiritually uplifted. Spiritual and mental health. So I think these guys are giving a signal to us. Let's understand their emotions now. It's time for us to understand their emotions. So what I will do is let's give an end to it over here. We can have a quick question and answer session, madam, if you permit. Yeah. So I think they have allotted 10-15 minutes for question and answer. Anybody, if you want to ask any question, I'll be happy to answer. If you want any personal consultation, you can get the contact details and you can get in touch. Yes, sir. How to find the right mentor? That's a very, very important thing. वो गुरु भी बराबर मिलना चाहिए. वो निर्मल बाबा का नाम सुना? हाँ? कृपा वाला. हाँ. मारो एक मित्र છે લંડનમાં. કલાક સુધી ફોન લાઈન ઉપર વેટ કરે. નિર્મલ બાબા જોડે વાત કરે. તમારે અપોઇન્ટમેન્ટ લેવાનો. કલાક સુધી ફોન કરે અને પાછું કે ओ तुम्हारे उधर एक वो मूर्ति है ना, वो नदी में डाल के आओ. कृपा खुल जाएगी. क्या? कृपा बन जाएगी. So you need to select the right mentor. That's very, very important. That mentor has to be, one is you should trust him and he should trust you. There should be a clear understanding that he is going to guide you. Usually the mentors, in all the professional companies you have a concept of mentors now. They allot somebody who is not from your department, he's got nothing to do with you, but he will keep guiding you. Every 3 months he will have a session, he will tell you what is good, what is right, what you should do, what should be a career path. Whole life I was confused, madam, whether I should build my career in execution or engineering or sales or planning or finance, right? Because there was nobody to guide me. Had it been that somebody is there to tell me what to do. So depending on your interest, depending on whom you trust, depending on whether the person would be able to devote that time, because you are looking for a mentor who would be a very well qualified person, right? You will have to scout for the one. Any other question? Yes, madam. How to do that without? Rule. So bound, okay. So where do you cross the line? Where do you draw the line, right? I think it should be your experience. If you are unable to decide by your own, probably your mentor can guide you. That's one of the reasons why you should have a mentor. See, the mentor becomes so important because your brain is still evolving and it will keep evolving till the time we die. It cannot have everything in anything which you can think of as of now, right? So you need to take support from others. So ask somebody. If you are unable to decide, wherever you feel it is, he is going to keep it confidential, wherever you trust him, ask. He will tell you. Risk, le lo risk. If you don't, see, our life is full of risk, and if you don't take a risk, you are putting your life in risk. Yes, take that risk. Nobody is going to, see, if you are sure that I am not doing anything wrong, do it. At the most, what will happen? It will be wrong. That's fine. You fail. Yes, I fail. Who has not failed in his life so far? Everybody has failed somewhere or the other. Everybody has failed. It's a learning, no? It's a learning process. No questions, right? Yes, sir. सर आपका तो बड़ा भारी क्वेश्चन होगा सर, मैं तो पहले हाथ जोड़ देता हूँ मैं.
Sir, in your whole speech, you have used one word called knife or chaku multiple times. So do you have any correlation subconsciously or consciously, EQ-wise, spiritually?
There is a reason. There is a reason.
That it emerges during your communication, because there can be better examples also.
That is one of the biggest problem currently in my country there. Every alternate day there are cases of people knifing, young kids, teachers, random. I mean the tourists are there, somebody comes with a knife, so maybe unknowingly, unconscious mind. Very well picked up, very well picked up. Yes, sir. How to increase इंटेलिजेंस? अच्छा, एकदम प्रैक्टिकल तरीका बताऊं. आपका गर्लफ्रेंड को लेके जाओ नर्मदा के किनारे, नदी के किनारे बैठो, आराम से भजिया खाओ और एक अच्छा किताब पढ़ो. I tell you, there will be a lot of purity of thoughts by default. See, what happens is, if you want to do the things in the same environment, it's very difficult. You need to break that environment and get into a mode wherein you are thinking differently. So that's the reason why these days we have offsite. All the major meetings, board of director, પ્રશાંત ભાઈ જોડે meeting કર્યું હોય ને, એ offsite જાય, દમણ લઈ જાય તમને. So that you are out from your regular environment. You think differently, you come up with new ideas, you come up and take different decisions, right? Take a break. Take a break. Break and travel is also another good way to create your own emotion design. Always take a break. लेके जाने का सब. आपका शादी हो गया? अच्छा, फटाफट कर लो. उसके बाद see this concept now, it is very well picking up in India also. Take a break. Every 6 months go out. Spend money. That's how you are going to. Otherwise તો અહીંયા શું કરવાના સાહેબ, તમારે 3 ઘર તો છે, ચોથાનું શું કરશો તમે? બરાબર છે? Yes sir. Any other? Yes sir. It is the pureness of your own thoughts. This is where I say the unconscious mind, which doesn't allow you to open up. It keeps the things concealed. You have to clean that. Purity will start with your own. મંદિર में जो लोग जाते हैं ना, सब દેરાસરમાં જાઓ ને સાહેબ તમે, એ બધા જે દેરાસરમાં આવતા હોય ને, they all will have same kind of thoughts and they align themselves well, and then they do business also there because their thought processes are matching, because that at the core the value system is same. At the core the value system is same. So you build your own purity, your thoughts, you will automatically see that you are attracting people of your liking, you are attracting people who are good, you are attracting people who will allow you to do mistakes. It will happen by default, but it has to start by your own. There is nobody who is going to tell you कि हाँ तने 2 करोड़ रुपया पे चल तू धंधो कर. No, it has to start with own. Last question, if anybody has got. Yes madam.
Like I have doubts all the time that will this happen, will this not? So how do I, work upon it? Or
Let me tell you one thing. Exactly the same feeling everybody in this room is having, and exactly the same fear everybody has got. I must appreciate that you have guts to say that I have those feelings and how do I overcome them. That itself is a big booster for you. Next time you will not fail. Just ignore. What? You will fail? That's it. That's not the end of the life. If you fail, you have learned something. Fail नहीं होगा तो उतना भी सीखने को नहीं मिला. At least that much you have learned.
thank you. Yeah.
Yes sir.
The psychologist cannot change his psychology. That I have heard and seen.
ઓકે, તમારો પ્રશ્નનો જવાબ આપી દઉં સાહેબ. As per records, 40% of the psychological consultants are patient themselves. 40% of the psychological consultants are patient themselves on records. Why? Because 8 hours they are in the same environment. उसको आके बोल रहा है सर मेरे को सुसाइडल थॉट्स आ रहा है, सर मेरे को सुसाइडल थॉट्स आ रहा है, वो 4 बार सुनेगा तो आपको भी लगेगा આને આવે છે ચાલુ મને પણ થોડું થોડું આવે છે ને આ તો પ્રોબ્લેમ ચાલુ આનું નથી મને પણ આવે છે. अगले दिन सुबह गया, मेरे को तो सब ऐसा पूरा था बड़ा बड़ा रावण जैसा दिखता है, रोज मेरे को रावण जैसा दिखता है वो कुछ. So it's the environment, because the brain is getting tuned. It's exactly how you have learned so far in your life. આપણે કહીએ ને ઘરના સંસ્કાર, most of the learning which you build is in your childhood until the age of 6. that remains, knowingly or unknowingly. And that is what I call it as sanskar, right? So it is inbuilt. It is inbuilt. But yes, you are right. Psychologically, it's very difficult. Very, very difficult. એટલે હું તો જતો જ નથી સર, એના કરતાં દેરાસરમાં જઈને ભગવાનને પગે લાગી લેવાનું. અને એકવાર તમે સાયકેટ્રિસ્ટને ત્યાં જશો ને તો કંઈક ને કંઈક તો કાઢી જ નાખશે. Yeah.
બહુ મોટી વાતો નથી. અને વન વેરી ગુડ થિંગ ઇઝ અહીંયા ઘણા બધા લોકો એવા હશે જે લોકો ઇમોશનલી બહુ આગળ હશે, પણ એમણે દાખલો આપ્યો અમારે અહીંયા વિનોદભાઈ પંચાસરાનો, એમણે જે 4 પેલા ચોરસ બનાવીને, we can say that yes, we have a living example here in our this room itself, a person who enjoys keeping people together. રિલેશનશિપ મેનેજમેન્ટના અહીંયા ખૂબ માંધાતા અહીંયા બેઠા છે. સો પીપલ કેન ઇન્ટરેક્ટ. ઘણા લોકોએ બહુ સરસ કીધું સ્પિરિચ્યુઅલિટી લાવવી ક્યાંથી, અહીંયા જ માણસ છે એની પાસેથી બધું મળી જાય એવું છે આપણને. સો રાજેશભાઈ રિયલી વન્ડરફુલ. અને the best part is, in spite of staying for a long time in UK, આપની ભાષામાં જે તળપદી રીતે વાત આવે છે ને, ઇટ ગેટ્સ શીરાની જેમ અહીંયા ઉતરી જાય. આપણે એવું કહીએ તો ખોટું નથી. થેન્ક યુ વેરી મચ. અને આઈ વોઝ જસ્ટ ઓબ્ઝર્વિંગ, આમાંથી એક પણ માણસ હલ્યું નથી, હે ને. યુ હેવ કેપ્ટ ધેમ રાઇટ થ્રુ આઉટ હિયર. નહીં તો માણસને યાદ આવે કે બહાર વરસાદ પડે, ચાલો ઘરે ભાગીએ. બટ ઇટ વોઝ ડિલિવર્ડ સો વેલ એન્ડ વેરી એપ્રોપ્રિએટ ટુ ધ ટોપિક કે પર્સનલ અને બિઝનેસ લાઈફ. both the places, both these things are very important. So thank you very much. I hope everybody takes home something back through this speech and utilizes it for the life. Thank you very much.